Halfway through her third chain-smoked cigarette, I let loose the righteousness in my guts and say, we always hated watching Mom do this. You're killing yourself in front of me. Too tired to argue, Anna tucks the Marlboros away, somewhere deep in the pockets of her paramedic's jacket, pulls cancer from her mouth, steady and unblinking, and asks me, you want to know who died today? She says a kind of brittle resignation sets in whenever a patient says, I am going to die. That all her medical training is really just this tumble towards inevitable. That first time, the patient was a 4-year-old girl, all wide eyes and freckles, a spiked fever joyriding her pupils, taking her delirious and dark. She said, I'm dying. Barely a whisper, like she was noticing the weather just after the ambulance doors closed. Anna says she always feels it in her fingers first. Failure seeping through the latex as her hands search for a pulse and try to hold it there. This part is mechanical. She checks the airway, asks what day it is, keeps her voice precise and soothing, knows to start bracing for the moment when the paperwork begins. It's not that these ones don't deserve to live. It's just that they're usually right. Not when they flail about in a panic or beg for more life, terror twisting at the end of each breath, not when the declaration has anything to do with desire. That little girl said, I am dying, back when her uniform still made Anna feel like a god. So she took the kid's sweaty face in her hands and said, no, honey, not if I can help it. And that's when the child's body started to seize. Now, her palms are bit through with the cost of not letting go, so she is learning slowly how to not go with them. Even though her hands keep working, she is turning off the part of her chest that tenses like survival is her responsibility. Because you can force air into the lungs, pound chest till clavicles crunch and blood sledges along incapable veins, but you cannot force a bud to bloom again. Nerve endings fire until they don't anymore. We are flesh becoming itself until there is nothing left to become. The words, I am dying, taste the air like a verdict. And when it comes, the animal in us knows its own clockwork gear shifts too well to ignore the signs. The sputter of fluid in blocked lungs. The flicker of vision at organ failure. The irregular gallop of this natural machine bucking to complete a task it is no longer fit for. The first night she heard it, Anna fought like revival was more than a word. Unwilling to face the father at the hospital, to say, I'm sorry, long after the little girl was gone. Become a body without breath, her skin cooling still. After, Anna didn't eat for a week. She tells me her hope is sometimes just residual denial of the forms our bodies take. Says we are just the science of cells, and cells fade like neon when you look away. The flash burning echoed reverse colors against your retinas, and in a minute, it's like it never happened in the first place. The ones who died today, they can't compare to the first. She tells me all about them, practicing distance with the cold flick of lighter flint. Doesn't say their names, just tells me about their faces, their families, the moment before they went slack on the gurney, what it felt like to be the ferryman instead of the hero, the healer. And I have nothing else to offer, so I just let her smoke.